Hi there. I know everyone is wondering about this call, but I know a lot of you are people who also struggle with mental health and have their own triggers. I'm not saying that as a derogatory, but simply so all of you know that I'm aware of you, and I'm trying to give you all the space and time to look at what's on screen. If you're on a tab, have your phone in your pocket, or drawing on another screen, I really need you to all take a look at what's on the screen right now. I'll give it a bit while I explain the context here. On March 18th of this year, Lumi hijacked the bot in Senate and demodded everyone so Peaches, K-Cosmic, and him could post call-out docs calling me an abuser. That's what kicked off a lot of turmoil in the coming weeks afterwards. Unbeknownst to me at the time, the server Peaches created, called Burger King, or BK for short, had several people from my mod staff saying some insanely incorrect and vile things about me in the background. Lumi was one of the worst of this. The logs have now been scrubbed, and you'll see them in the description. After my video came out, Lumi decided to drop Peaches and have a call with me later. This will be that call. Lumi didn't want the call recorded, even going so far as to claim that they had talked to a lawyer about it. This came to be a moot point though, as Lumi recorded it anyways to remember quotes to tell people. Not sure why Lumi wouldn't give them the call though. The people Lumi was passing quotes to likely weren't the type that would have weaponized what was in there. That being said, Monstrous did record, and it's her copy that I'll be playing here. Thank you, Monstrous. I've been going back and forth on releasing this for a bit now. Some people don't think I should because they don't like me putting personal beef with people on my channel. And to be honest, I did take that to heart. However, the call somehow got leaked to Cass Warfox of all people. That's who runs that channel. And yes, that Cass Warfox. Still not sure how that happened, but it did. And now other content creators are covering it. If I was going to release it, I was going to scrub it of the personal info first. But since it's out now without any scrubbing, I might as well make it public myself. This call is going to have some very personal, awful things I went through referenced, as well as me being honest about how I was feeling during Lumi and Peach's stunt. I've had people tell me I need to be more honest about my feelings, to be more vulnerable to my audience, so I guess you'll get that here. I'll likely have people asking me why I didn't scrub other things from this call. The reason I'm putting it up unscrubbed is because it's already out there. It's already being covered. There's no point in doing it now. So with all that preamble out of the way, here's the call.
It's relevant.
It has nothing to do with it.
No, I promise it is relevant.
Yes, we'll find out.
So, in my case, I do want to start with the fact that I do owe you an apology, and I will start with that. I've been pretty blunt about it. I've been apologized to everyone that is owed that apology, so you are owed the same. I need to apologize to you for propagating the claims made against you in relation to your abuse of Aaron and others. I am sorry about that, I genuinely am. I'm not reading anything, by the way. I know I'm sounding very stoic or anything. I promise I'm not. I shouldn't have propagated those claims, and I should have spoken to you about them, rather than going with my clear bias towards Aaron at the time. That is on me. I take full accountability for that. I'm not pleading for forgiveness. I remember what your stance on forgiveness is. However, I'm not pleading for forgiveness. I just want you to know that I am actually sorry, and I regret my actions. And I retracted my statement, as you saw yourself. I've explained to you. Yes, I retracted it because it was a mixture of people spamming to edit it and the fact that I regretted the statement anyway. So I do want to make this clear.
Okay.
What the fuck? Sorry, I thought I heard my mother doing something. Now. You wanted this call, and I want to ask why you wanted this call.
Because I want answers.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know why you did certain things. Because here's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
I know, Aaron. I know what they do. That grants some clemency. However, you, as opposed to literally everyone else, because I know Aaron weaponized their life. I know that. But you ran around doing what they wanted with a sadistic glee. You were happy to do it. I want to know why.
I'm going to disagree. There was no glee to it, and what may have been perceived as glee was actually, frankly, something that was closer to mania because of the stress I was put under. I wasn't actually giddy or happy. I either had to please Aaron, or I had Aaron spiral on me and attempt on their life again. Which, as you probably heard multiple times, happened about 6 times, when in reality was probably closer to 8, probably. I couldn't say no to Aaron, because if I said no to Aaron, they would immediately spiral. any hint at me being against anything they've said, it would immediately cause a spiral. So no, there was no actual glee, and no offense, I don't see any of it looking back as glee. Like, I was...
You don't. I do.
That's
I talked to Harley. Smiley face.
Yeah.
Having vent sessions where you're giddily going through my script saying some egregious things. How is this not giddily and gleeful to you?
And you just heard me explain the fact that I was speaking to Aaron, and if I seemed any bit against it, I would absolutely have Aaron just snap and talk about the fact that they're going to kill themselves because because nobody believes them.
So let's address something else.
Sure.
Why did you go to Harley to undercut what I was trying to do?
I went to Harley because Aaron wanted the story out, and I went to Harley and I gave them the full unedited Raven recording with the context I was given from Aaron. I simply typed what I was told to type, and that's all that happened.
You know why I was talking to Harley?
Go ahead.
Because Aaron did not want to deal with a video about them, and I was trying to get Harley to not do that. And Aaron knew this. And I know that you know Aaron knew this because the second call that happened after the Raven call, the one while I was at work, that was discussed, and you listened to it.
I'm going to be honest, I do not recall that. However, I'm not going to sit here and say it didn't happen.
I think the phrase "pop off 16-year-old" was used in chat by you with your little sketch 16? Of your cat.
No, it wasn't a 5-year-old.
Nope, 16. Nope,
16?
16. That's what you wrote. That's on your sketch with the cat.
Pretty sure it was
You were
5.
listening. Nope, I am deadly serious. I know what I'm talking about here.
All right.
The 5-year-old was in reference to the Among Us game. This is when they called me while I was at work the next morning after the Raven call. He wants to talk, so we talk. Cat emoji with gun. Because you guys, because Aaron was streaming that into the server, and you guys were Yas queening them.
Not gonna deny it.
Aaron wanted me to bring up the failure of Harley's mods as a counterpoint to the fact that Aaron shouldn't be spoken about. I was trying to do something for Aaron, and you undercut that. You undercut that. You gave Harley false information, willfully, specifically about the Raven call, because that was not ableism on the level of Rosa. You also were not honest with me about the fact that you were passing Harley DMs that were none of their business. And I'm going to go ahead and guess that despite the fact that almost 2 months have passed, you probably haven't confronted Harley and told them you lied to them, have you?
I haven't spoken to Harley at all, actually, in that case. Well, not in that case, but in that respect. Yes. But I'm also going to point out one thing. The only thing I know I lied about was to you about the fact that I was telling Harley. That is true. However, everything else I passed to Harley was actually something I perceived as the truth at the time.
So the idea that Harley was going to assume Aaron was a predator was allegedly from me? You believe that to be true?
From Aaron. It was from Aaron, actually.
Okay, then why does Aaron go to Harley and other people saying that I'm passing their ideas as my ideas to their own? The idea of Susie literally compiled an entire point-by-point deconstruction of everything you said to Harley that was a lie.
Okay.
And here's what I am getting very sick of when it comes to you and others like that. You all say that you want to take accountability. You all say you want to try to repair some of the damage, but you don't actually do anything. You don't. Kate Cosmic said the same thing. They dipped immediately.
Due to health
here
issues
you are now.
That we're not going to get into.
I don't care. I don't care.
It is still relevant.
No, it's not relevant. And here's why it's not relevant.
No. It absolutely is.
We're not doing this. We're not doing this. I'm not going to sit here and let people who have propagated the idea that I'm an abuser and taken no care about my freaking health sit there and dictate that I should care about other people's health. I'm really getting sick and tired of having to concern myself with the health, opinions, and values of people who tried to destroy me. Because that's what you tried to do, Lumi.
Yes,
you may have
and I
done
am
it
sorry.
somewhat out of... Then don't sit here and argue with me about what's relevant to concerning somebody else's health. Because let me be very blunt with you. No, I'm speaking this time.
All right.
Do you have any clue how hard it was to not reach in the doggone box to the left of me that night all this happened and not put that gun in my mouth and pull the trigger? I am not going to have this. I'm not going to have this happen. You can imagine, yes, because you weren't put through it. I had my entire reputation, my legal name, my relationship with my wife, everything thrown into chaos because none of you had the decency to actually listen. Because you specifically, Lumi, are somebody I tried to reach out to, and you intentionally isolated me. And then you guys made a joke about it in BK.
Thing is, I'm gonna have to point out real quick. How did I try to isolate you? I actually genuinely need to know.
You need to make sure you have a support network that isn't your mods. You say sitting in a server knowing full well my mods are being poisoned against me. I sit there and I tell you, here's things Aaron's done. And I can give you evidence. I don't want the evidence.
Yeah.
And then you guys turn around and turn it a joke into BK server. I reached out to you, and the only way I knew how, because I was sitting here being dicked with by Aaron in ways you can't quite imagine. You were at it for 2 months, I was at it for almost 2 years. And you make a joke out of it.
Yeah, I have regrets, but I can't take it back. And I have apologized and I mean it. What else can I do in this context, Lyle?
Be open about it and stop trying to tone police what I'm saying and stop trying to sit here and tell me I need to be concerned with this, that, or the other.
I'm not
Cosmic made promises. Cosmic failed to do so and used their health as an excuse.
I'm going to clarify this because I genuinely am not telling you to look out for it. I'm giving the reason as to why Cosmic pulled back. It was genuine health issues, and if they stuck around, we both know it would have ended very badly for them.
No, we don't know that.
I do.
I don't know Cosmic, and I don't know if they're lying to me, because I have this really bad habit of being surrounded by people who will lie to me. Like you. If I have a problem with you, I'll tell you. Lio, man, if there was an issue, I wouldn't be around. Meanwhile, you're sitting here behind my back, objectively scheming. Objectively plotting to do what you can to ruin what little reputation I had left. You're a liar, Lumi.
I can admit to the lies I've made. I haven't fucking deemed myself like completely truthful. I haven't never went around saying I never lie. I've never made that my mantra, and I've never went around saying that to anybody. I've been trying to be as truthful as I could.
I'm not saying you made that your mantra, Lumi. I'm saying that you have stated you have a very specific value and you are a liar.
Lio, I'm going to politely request, if you request that I don't cut you off, that you don't cut me off either.
Fine.
Because I'm trying to be as level-headed as I can be right now. I'm trying to be as reasonable as I can be right now. I'm purposely keeping my tone as monotone as I can because I do not want to raise my voice at you. I've done it twice. Once, not directly at you, and I've apologized for it profusely. One time against you, I apologized for it. You responded with Buddha Mogus, which I thought was frankly weird. And then Zach went off and made a video, which I did actually watch through it. I haven't seen the full thing. I haven't. Claiming that I've done it multiple times, I would constantly yell at you, which I found odd, but whatever. Maybe it was another moment of loud-speaking misunderstood as yelling, which has happened to you. Now, in regards to talking to you, despite Aaron being in my back pocket, not back pocket, like in the back, like just behind me, whispering into my ear. Yes, that is on me. I've never denied that. I've never sat here saying, oh, I am totally innocent because I was manipulated. I don't do that. Not once have I said this to Crystal, Dorito, or anybody else who has reached out to me since that time. Not once. I've had Kumo trying to speak to me, Lio, and I told him to go fuck himself. To which he promptly told me to kill myself, which I thought was hilarious. But I'm choosing not to speak to any of those people. I'm choosing not to speak to Gilded. I'm not going on any streams. The only individuals who I have actually spoken to in relation to this were on Discord, one of which was Crystal because she willingly reached out to me. Now, with me sticking around, I actually wasn't allowed to cut you off because Aaron wanted me to keep a fucking eye on you. Was it weird? Oh, fuck yeah, it was. Yes. But if I said no, I'd have Aaron constantly going, oh, you think I'm a liar. Oh, you think I'm a manipulator. Oh, you think I'm this, I'm that. I just want to die. I just want to die. Reaching for a fucking handful of pills to down them again. That was a fun experience.
Yeah, and when they did, you refused to call emergency services for them.
Because I can't. In Ireland, I cannot. Do you remember that number I passed you for emergency services to call them from America? I can't use that. That's one. Two, Aaron had sold me on a story that you were scaring them with paramedics continuously for fucking months. That you kept constantly going off about how you're gonna call the paramedics, how you're gonna do this, how you're gonna do that. I was terrified of Aaron flipping on me and being like, no, you're doing the same thing as Lyle. You're doing the same thing as Lyle. Although I'm gonna point out to you right this second something that was brought to my attention, right? Sin. I know Sin is the one that fucking had the biggest issue with that. How come none of them actually went to the one person in our chat that actually was from England? Not a single one of them reached out to that person.
Because one would think, since Billy is who you're referring to, right?
Yes.
Was Billy not in these calls?
No. For the most part, he wasn't. He was more involved with Aaron in calls during Critter Club, which you have exports of, by the way. I'm aware of that.
I do, but here's also the thing.
Hand them over.
You know me? I have called emergency services for Aaron from the United States. It's a pain in the butt, but it's doable. I'm in Ireland, not a reason.
I literally have no access to any numbers currently. When you told me to call emergency service for Aaron, I sat downstairs, panicking, trying to find a number that I could use from Ireland. The only one I could find to call from abroad was the one I sent to you. That's the only one I could find. That is genuinely it. I didn't have that. The only contact I had was Charlie, and Aaron said not to fucking call Charlie. And the fuck am I meant to do when when I have the good old thing of Lio did this and this and this to me? So if you do this, you're gonna be just like Lio. What am I meant to do in that situation when I'm panic?
But speaking of Sin, I think you owe him and Hidden a conversation at some point. As far as the panic goes, trust me, I get it. But you sat there and you gave reasons for why it was okay as well. That's
to reassure them, which I love the fact that that was twisted against me. I love that.
Who? To reassure
Sin.
who?
Sin, the one DMing me about it.
You think that's reassuring?
The fact that wait, did you see the full screenshot of that?
I did.
The full thing. Great. With
Are you
me
talking about
breaking.
a DM? Because I'm talking about in the BK server is when you did this. Are you talking about DMs?
Yeah, it happened in both.
I see. Well, we'll put that to the side now because I haven't seen the DMs, and frankly, that's a side tangent. It's not the main reason why I'm here. You can have that conversation ultimately with Sin. Because you're sitting here saying that you've reached out to other people for apologies. You actually owe quite a bit of my old mod staff apologies as well, because you came at them sideways about a call that they had resolved with the victim a year ago.
Actually, that was something that I stand by. I did not feel comfortable remaining in contact after finding out additional context to the treatment of Jibs. That was not because...
What do you mean additional context?
The way Jibs was treated in the text chats. That is what pushed me. Lyle, can I please...
I'm agreeing.
Finish?
I said yeah.
Okay. So, that is the reason why I felt uncomfortable. Because that just gave additional context to that call. It changed everything I knew about that call, frankly. Something I wasn't aware of. I wasn't aware of how Jibs was treated in those text chats. It was disgusting.
And I did not... Sorry, go ahead. Didn't know you were done.
Yeah, sorry. I'm trying to keep my breathing level and all that. My chest. But I purposefully read through it. I stumbled upon it by accident, by the way. That was the worst part. That was an accidental stumble upon when Aaron had me digging. But stumbled upon it, realized there was additional context to the Jibs call and treatment of Jibs that had gone back years. I wasn't comfortable keeping people around like that. It it wasn't because, oh, Jibs will feel better if I do it. This was nothing to do with that. That was me being uncomfortable with it. I hope they changed.
I'm 100% aware that it had nothing to do with Jibs because you didn't give a dick about them.
I know we have used their story, and I'm aware that we have revealed it when we shouldn't have. I'm aware.
Oh, it's more than that. It's more than that, Lumi.
Go on.
You guys also continued to lie about how and in the context of which you further had evidence or allowance to use it after your call with Jibs that you had to be dragged by the scruff of your neck to get into.
Wait, what do you mean?
You had to be coerced, coaxed into getting in that call with Jibs. Crystal here had to essentially tell you if you don't, the first call is going to be released.
Yeah, and you want to know why?
I'd love to.
Yeah, guess who kept telling me not to speak to anyone?
So what weighs higher, the fact that you hurt a victim or the fact that Aaron's sitting here messing with you?
I have never stated that it is an excuse. I'm giving the reason. I know I fucked up. I have never sat there telling Crystal that I haven't. I haven't sat there saying, no. Like, I was manipulated, so it's fine. I've never said that to Crystal, and I never intend to say it. However, at the time...
I'm not saying that you're not owning it. I'm telling you what's going on. On top of that, there's other issues concerning all of that, too. Because you know what Aaron tried to get me to do in the script against Crystal? In a call we had?
Yes,
and
Crystal
here's where you and I are...
me.
Yeah, here's where you and I differ. I found ways to not have to do that. Because if I did, you wouldn't be able to talk to me right now. I'd be in the ground.
I'm aware.
I'm not going to weaponize. I'm not going to attack victims, even if Aaron's sitting here telling me they're going to kill themselves over it, because that's not right. I'm not going to weaponize people who have been through hell and back just to satisfy somebody who has a grudge over a stupid Twitter post.
I understand that. Yeah, you were stronger against Aaron. What else do you want to say?
Oh no, I wasn't stronger against Aaron. I just had an absolute limit that I would not allow to be breached. Aaron manipulated me, dicked with me, isolated me, and caused damage that's probably going to take years, if not forever, to undo, because I know what's happened in some of that server. You want to explain to me, Creepy Man Orbiter?
I wasn't the one that made the joke.
I didn't say you did. I asked you to explain it to me.
How can I explain the joke that somebody else has made? Think, like, no offense.
You were in the call when that was the status.
Yes, and we weren't, like, as far as I remember, which, again, we've spoken about the fact that I have memory issues, and I was experiencing mania at the time. That was fun. But I wasn't the one that made that status. I don't know why Aaron made the status at the time. Am I going to defend Aaron's actions? No, I'm not. There's many things said about you.
When I say explain it to me, I want the context for it. What did it mean to me?
I don't fucking know. I don't know why it was specifically fucking said. Could it be memory issues? Possibly. Who the fuck knows? I don't have convenient memory issues where I just don't remember convenient things, unfortunately. I wish I did. I have genuine memory issues where I genuinely don't remember certain things. You've experienced it yourself, Lio. I forget something as minute as my own birthday. You know that.
We were talking a moment ago about going through the old server chat, right?
What?
That's how you stumbled upon some of the stuff with Jibs, right?
Yes. Yes. Sorry, I got confused for a second there.
Aaron was trying to find evidence that I'm a child predator, weren't they?
No. In this case, we were just looking for evidence of people treating Jibs badly. Like, I don't know about Aaron's intent. I'm gonna be very blunt with you. I did not know about Aaron's proper intent for that. However, that is why I was told we were doing it.
There is a message from you. We didn't find evidence that he's a child predator, but he did say bad things.
Yes.
So why would you preface that about finding evidence about me being a child predator if that's not what was being looked for?
I do not know why exactly I sent that message. However, to clarify that we haven't found anything about you being a child predator, like, no offense, I personally do not see anything wrong with saying it, to preface the fact that we have found shit, but that does not point towards that. Give me a second, my sibling just messaged me. Okay. Sorry, it's just, she messaged me now and I can't really ignore her. Alright.
Are you aware that Aaron's entire Google call-out is essentially trying to paint me as some sort of sexual predator?
Looking back on it, yes. In hindsight.
If you felt so remorseful for all this, why did it take someone else contacting you? Why didn't you reach out to me directly?
Because I was still in contact with Aaron.
And what made you decide to finally drop Aaron?
It was something I was considering for a while now. There was a few instances that happened, what am I saying? Happened in Critter Club privately, where Aaron would repeatedly threaten their own life, talk about how they're hated, they're that, they're this, they're that, just mentally draining me. It's had a physical and mental effect on me, as we all know, but we're not going to get into that. It's irrelevant. And that, mixed with the fact that I'm dealing IRL with something as nice as my mother having stage 1 cancer, which is what I've been dealing with in the background. This is what I was referring to by I have the most stereotypical excuse ever. That's what I was referring to. That weekend, my mother was getting surgery, and I was the one dealing with everything in the house relating to it, as well as phone calls from the hospital. I am the person who speaks English the best in the house, therefore I was the one put in charge of that. She had surgery, we do not know where it's progressing, and until future, I am the one that still is to be contacted by the hospital.
Did Aaron have any plans to do more damage?
As far as I know, no.
What was their reason for doing this?
From what they told me, it was specifically because of the quote-unquote abuse. I'm putting quotations there because obviously it's not fucking true. You've already cleared that up. So that's why I'm saying quote-unquote. But it was supposedly to expose you as being abusive towards them, quote-unquote. That's what I was told, and that's what I believed.
You didn't find it all very convenient that this was happening the minute the Rosa stuff was picked up?
I did find it odd. However, at the time, I had somebody with me who kept going on and on about how they have to speak up about it, how they have to get it out, how they have to cut you off to get you out of their life, and how they wanted to constantly die and kill themselves and go into graphic detail about shit they want to do to themselves.
The cutting off that I made very clear, if that's what they wanted, I would grant that to them. Which is why I never chased after them the several times they tried to break contact with me.
Mm-hmm. Which is good. Well, that's what I meant to say about that. You respected their boundaries.
Yeah, it would have been nice if people respected mine.
I agree.
How much a person... Because you see, here's the point where I'm a little irritated about you not allowing recordings here because, well, personal information. You didn't mind Aaron putting mine out.
In my case, I had no control over what Aaron actually put in their statement. They had control over what me and Cosmic put in our statements, constantly sitting in call with us and badgering us for things to include in our statements. Initially, look, let me explain the countdown, because a lot of people have explained the countdown, but then none of them have actually given you the reason that was legit, which is infuriating. It started as a joke. It genuinely started as a joke. I was gonna do it with a small mention of, yeah guys, I'm out of here, not coming back, see ya, and that's it. In the middle of that countdown is when Aaron brought up statements, how we have to make statements, how they have to expose you, how they have to do this, how they have to do that. Any mention of not doing it, and Aaron would spiral.
I don't care about the countdown. I don't. It was childish and stupid and you lied about it. That's as far as I care about the statement. You threw the server into chaos.
Mhm.
leaving everybody without the ability to moderate. Then you decided to take shots at Hidden for not leaving by trying to bribe them with a server, which is the dumbest thing in the doggone world.
It is the dumbest
And
thing in the doggone world because I didn't actually try to bribe them with a server, which, you know, I'd love to prove to you, but there's one minute problem here, Lio. Hidden wiped all of their DMs with me.
found that out. I find that very egregiously suspicious. I don't know why they did that. But did you say that they weren't capable of running a community? Did you hand off a server to Sin instead of Hidden?
Rather than saying incapable of running community, I said they weren't at the mental capacity to currently do so, just the stress they kept repeatedly expressing to me in DM. So I handed it off to Sin because I knew Sin would do exactly as Hidden wanted with the server. It wasn't as malicious as it's being framed as. It genuinely was just, there's somebody I see as a friend at the time, in case it's not obvious, I don't fucking perceive them as such now. But
I see.
yeah, I genuinely did it because I didn't want Hidden exposed to more fucking stress. Which, by the way, I'm more upset about the fact that Hidden has deleted their DMs with me. Because Hidden will repeatedly bitch about the fact that you would vent to them, touting themselves as your fucking therapist, constantly.
I'm aware there's enough of that in the BK server. But
Oh, there was a lot more in my DMs.
Speaking of therapists, you wanted to explain to me why you found it acceptable to mock me for struggling to find a therapist?
Why? By posting that Google sheet where I point out, well, you wouldn't know this context because you weren't in the call, and I'm guessing nobody in the other side of it have actually told you about any of the context, which I find convenient, but it's best to do that.
This wasn't about a Google sheet. You were listening in on the conversation. Same one I mentioned earlier between Aaron and I, the second call after the Raven call, where you started posting images from Google. Oh, look at this therapist, Lyle, man. Look at this one. Look at this one. Hey, Lumi, I know you've been struggling trying to find a house. How about I just go look for random houses in Ireland and post it for you? Because it's just that easy, right?
Okay, and as I was going to explain earlier, you are missing the context on that. The context is the fact, and this is something that somebody in the call would be able to give you, however, none of the people actually involved in this seem to remember the context. This was in referring to the fact that there is a list of people you can reach out to ask if they take your insurance. Was it acceptable? No. I can look back on and absolutely regret it. I am sorry for that. But that was the intent at the time.
Then why didn't you contact me, Lumi? That was a catty poke at a server. I don't buy it.
I wasn't contacting you in general about anything serious other than things that Aaron told me to contact you about.
My point is that this was supposed to somehow show these are people you can see if you can take your insurance. Posting it in a stupid server where all you people did was dog on me, insult me, in some cases tell me how I should kill myself. I don't see how this is somehow some magical new way of looking at it that's constructive.
Rather than constructive, I'm giving you context that I think you're missing.
Your context sucks and it doesn't excuse anything.
I know. But it still gives you the context of what is there. Context is important. You might disagree with me. However,
It does not remove the obvious to me malice in this, because you wouldn't have done it to anybody else.
I would have, honestly, but let's be frank. I can look back on my actions and state they were unacceptable, and I'm going to improve from them, which I have been. It's still progress, but I'm making progress myself.
There are things you put out that you knew were lies. You knew how much I cared about Aaron. You also knew that I was the reason why they were continuing to survive. I was paying their bills.
Actually, no. I didn't know you were paying their bills. I didn't know the extent of it until somebody else fucking pointed it out. You think Aaron fucking told me this shit? No, they fucking didn't. Aaron talked about how...
Go ahead.
Thank you.
Didn't know you weren't done.
I know. I understand that my speech is a bit erratic. I understand that it's just normal shit that happens when you don't sleep. But, in my case, Aaron actually kept going on about how you didn't care. How you did not give a shit about them. All this other shit. With that in my ear, how am I meant to buy that you cared when, no offense, my bias was towards Aaron? Looking back on it, yeah, it's absolutely brain dead. But that was my mindset at the time.
You were in a server where I gave Aaron everything they wanted. You knew I was in calls with Aaron until they fell asleep every night for hours every day. Every time Aaron needed something, I was there. It's why when Aaron spiraled on Twitter, I was the first person you came to.
When was that? Like genuinely, like not even as a snarky thing. Like
multiple different times. In fact, go into our DMs and click Twitter. Search for it.
No, the reason I'm asking when, okay? Now, just to explain why. The reason I'm asking when is this probably was before Aaron started poisoning the well. That's why.
Whether it's before or after Lumi, the point is you had sufficient data based on your own experiences, seeing what I allowed Aaron to do. Here, let me go ahead and get somebody who is not as aware. Crystal, can you talk?
Yeah, hi.
So you weren't very active in Senate, right?
No, definitely not.
From your perspective and what little you saw, could you tell that I cared for Aaron?
Do you want me to be honest?
Please.
Yeah.
I saw you and Lumi, again, I would have had a very big disconnection. I'm connected more to you two than ever before. I saw you and Aiden as the main support network for Peaches. Had everyone else who was following them, but I would say you two were the main supporters from a very outsider's point of view. That's my perspective on that.
Thank you. Thank you. That's my point. And I can promise you, people like Monsters here also noticed, because my support for Aaron is what caused me to push all of the old mods away.
Yeah. I'm aware. The thing is, in hindsight, there's a good few moments where I actually didn't realize it and somebody else had to point it out to me. Aaron was not happy about me being friends with certain people. At all. I framed it as indifference.
Like?
Well, I framed it. I understood it as indifference. Mally, for example.
You knew that.
No, I thought Aaron had gotten over it, actually. That's just
Nope,
somebody else.
because you and I have had conversations about that.
Yes.
About how unhappy Aaron was.
Yes. And then later down the line, by the time we weren't talking, I thought Aaron had gotten the fuck over it. Like,
You don't,
I'm sorry.
because we had a sorry, let me interject here. We had a conversation in mod staff. The entire conversation was literally all about Mally. Specifically because Aaron was going on about how they would love to be Mally's friend, but Mally's around terrible people. And you and I had a conversation in there about how it's very interesting that Aaron does not constantly get onto you for being friends with Mally, but gets onto me for it. And you responded with, I know they're not happy about me being friends with Mally.
Yes. And I'm going to repeat myself probably when I say this. They didn't get onto me about it, Lio.
But you knew it was an issue, which is what you just
Yes!
said you didn't know.
No! Okay, I don't know how else to put this down more bluntly for you. When we spoke in mod chat, I thought it was an issue they had. By the time me and Aaron were involved privately, I thought they had gotten over it. The difference is the time, when it happened, Lio.
Well, speaking of Mally, speaking of this stuff, you say that it is against your moral to share somebody's DMs, right?
DMs?
Yes. It's why you wouldn't share with me Mally's final DM to Peaches, to Aaron, because you said it was against your morals. You couldn't do that.
It is against my morals if somebody shares something private to me and I cannot pass it along because I was told not to pass it along. That is the specific. Mally told me not to share it.
So that gives you carte blanche to share private information that I gave you to Harley, right?
No, that wasn't acceptable. I can look back on it and say it wasn't acceptable.
I don't think you really understand the depth of what you've done.
I do. I'm just trying my best to remain calm in this conversation. Yes.
Explain it to me then.
I betrayed your trust. Simple as.
Oh, just that simple. You just betrayed my trust.
No. I'm simplifying it because I'm not gonna sit here for half an hour explaining how bad it was.
You said you understood the depth. I call on you to explain to me the depth of it, and you don't want to.
I betrayed your trust. You granted me trust by exposing yourself to me in the most vulnerable state, and I betrayed that. Is that better? Is that what you want?
No, because it just communicates to you don't actually understand the depth of what you've done.
Why? Because I can't speak the words you expect me to speak?
No, Lumi, because you're focusing on the betrayal of trust instead of the fact that you actively, intentionally tried to destroy me. This isn't about betrayal of trust. Plenty of people have betrayed my trust and haven't done this nonsense.
I will say, when I was asked about the statements initially, I was asked, are you intending to cancel Lyle? I said no, because I didn't. The intention wasn't to destroy you, the intention was, at the time, to give everyone what they wanted, which was to reveal your actions. And that's what I did. The intent was to expose the truth. What I perceived at the time as the truth.
How in the name of God do you sit here and you frame someone as a abuser and say it's not your intention to cancel them, knowing you have gone behind their back to cause other trouble? You have instigated things with other content creators hoping they cover it, which is why Aaron sent you to Harley to let them know. How do you sit here and say that wasn't an attempted cancellation?
Maybe I'm just stupid. But that genuinely wasn't the intent to cancel you, and I clarified that to people.
Who have you clarified that to?
There was somebody in the... God, what is Hidden Server called again?
The Supreme Court?
Thank you. There was an interview held in there. Aaron was not giving answers, I was giving answers. Aaron was on my alt account, which...
I'm aware.
Yeah, they don't have access to that. And during that, somebody asked if I intended to get you cancelled, and I said no, I didn't. And I repeatedly clarified that. I had personal friends who I'm not going to disclose the names of because you are not privy to that information, where I clarified no, the intent was not to cancel.
Then yes, you are stupid.
Great, I can accept that.
Because that's like a kid lighting something on fire and saying they didn't mean to burn it.
Wait, general question, was that call recorded in the Supreme Court, if we know?
As far as I know, the person probably interviewing me did let me into Aaron and all those. I'm pretty sure they recorded it. I don't remember their fucking name, though.
I'll see if I can bug Hidden about it.
Yeah.
Speaking of recordings,
Mhm.
whatever recordings you have from Senate, I want.
That's gonna be a problem.
Why?
My hard drive's busted.
Cool.
And
Then you can post every single link from the YouTube channel.
Fine. The ones I
Thank
have,
you.
yeah.
I appreciate it.
But the ones that weren't uploaded, I do not have access to them.
Interesting that a tech nerd like you somehow has a busted hard drive, but whatever.
That, Lyle, no offense, that is genuinely, like, no insult intended, but a hardware failure is not reliant on the individual who knows how to use the hardware. If a hard drive fails, like, I've tried to transplant the disk from this thing. You know, the tech boy thing. And it didn't fucking work.
I figured you'd have backups.
That was my backup drive. Every time I'd record something, I put it in there.
I see.
One thing with the calls you're making public, can you not make that one Sasu call public? Just
I'm not
until... Yeah, thank you. Just that one until I've done it. Because again, I'm making that link public afterwards. Just...
You know, okay. I'm not gonna do anything you don't want, Crystal.
Thank you, I appreciate that. Yippee.
I want to know what personal information did Aaron give you about me?
Essentially, the extent of the statement is what I knew.
Okay, extent of the statement. No, that's not all you know. Because I've had other people. No, I'm talking about personal information about me as a person. What would Aaron say? What would Aaron claim that I've told them?
The 8 months of abuse, which you are aware of anyway, which was stated in the statement. Pretty sure why you don't want to have kids is also in the statement. Yelling at them, also in the statement. I actually do not know exactly where you work. I knew the name at some point, but that was because of Aaron telling me how to find it, which was stupid, but I didn't seek out the information. and
Why did
I
Aaron
have no
tell you?
intent.
Why did Aaron tell you where to find it?
I don't remember. I think it was just because they were talking about how Charlie found it.
I see.
They were laughing at it. Pretty sure that's exactly what happened, actually.
You see, there's a key thing here that you're not mentioning.
Hmm.
Why was the fact that I was molested a talking point in that server?
I don't fucking recall that. What?
Everybody else does.
I wouldn't have made fun of that, though. I'm fucking making you sure of that right this fucking second.
It's not about inherently making fun of. It's about treating it like it's teen gossip. And here's the thing that really, really, really sucks. You know who I had to find this out from?
Who?
Bristol.
Wait. Hold on. So the others came to you offering all this shit as an olive branch, and they didn't fucking mention that to you?
Nope.
Because I didn't recall it until you fucking mentioned it. Like, full fucking brutal honesty here. I didn't recall it until you said it.
Well, there's a lot of things they magically forget. Isn't that right, Bristol?
Yeah, no, it does seem very convenient with what is remembered and what isn't remembered, because like what I've done is that I've talked to everyone individually and asked Lumi the same questions, saying, hey, what do you remember from the BK course? And again, I've got a timeline of events and some line up.
Chris, I think your mic broke.
So that
Hidden.
there you are.
Who would have guessed? But yeah, no, it's interesting of what has been cleared up with Lumi, in the sense of like, oh, when Lumi's told me this, suddenly Hidden remembers. It's interesting.
Very frustrating.
Mm-hmm. But no, to my understanding, Lumi wasn't in the call. I know it's not relevant to me. I just want to give context.
Yeah.
Lumi wasn't in the call where they were talking about my homelessness, and they were told the same thing about the amino screenshots as you, but Hidden and Say were told very different information compared to everyone else. So
Yeah. I can confirm that because when Crystal told me, I blew a fucking fuse.
yeah. So it's like Peaches was gauging who they could shit talk who to. So it's interesting. Peach's approach and all this is very calculated, even looking back at it, like with what I know, who knows what.
So yeah, in case it wasn't obvious, I'll clarify it again. I didn't know about the true meaning of the quote-unquote spicy comment until fucking Crystal told me. Because Aaron kept fucking saying it was the meaning that you and I perceived.
Yep, because
I wouldn't have stuck around nearly as long had I known.
Yeah, no, you and Lai were told the exact same thing about the spicy comment, but Say and Hidden were told the truth, and then Say went to Liar about it instead of me, and Hidden didn't remember until I mentioned it to them.
Oh, hold on. Real quick correction. Say didn't come to me about it. I was in contact with Say, and I said, I'm like, hey, wait, I should ask about this, and I did.
Honestly, I'm glad you fucking did.
Yeah, no,
I am not a happy camper.
No, it's legitimately lied to everyone. Anyways, sorry, I'm making this about me. You guys do your thing.
it's somewhat relevant, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was a lot of things Aaron didn't tell me. I know it's shocking, and you're fine to not believe me. But there was shit kept from me, and had I known it, I wouldn't have kept Aaron around. We know screenshots, bloody excellent example. I would have fucking kept Aaron around. I find that disgusting.
Why didn't you just ask me?
Because the well was poisoned, and I didn't know if I could trust you.
So
Aaron
all it
painted...
took was a month of well poisoning for you to forget who I am as a person.
It wasn't just a month, Lyle.
How long was it?
Close to a year. Of Aaron constantly going off about how you were treating them, how you were awful towards them. At first, mind you, and I can go and find the screenshots of that. Now, clearing that up now. Thanks to Crystal, I have access to the Rebel Aaron account now. However, I'm not offering an export of that due to personal information and personal images, one of which is a somewhat risky image of Aaron. I am not passing that along due to that.
Care. I don't care. But speaking of that, since we're on that topic, who was it? Sonny wants you to delete any images, any video that have to do with them, and everybody else that you have taken images of, want them gone.
Oh yeah, no, that's already gone.
Good.
He doesn't have to worry about that. Only time I've taken pictures was to quite literally send them to Sunny, and if it was taken as a screenshot in Discord, I didn't save them. It was done with Windows Shift S, which, if anybody knows that shortcut, knows it goes into the clipboard and isn't saved locally. As far as I know, at least. But I can double check anyway.
I would say check your default photos file in the screenshots file.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that.
Yeah.
Actually, might as well do that now. But
Also, I do want to give Lumi a bit of grace in a way. As again, I say, like, if there's something what needs to be explored, is that you asked Lumi why they didn't reach out to you, right? Like, when it came to the information of the poisoning of the well, right? Like, why did it not just talk to you, Liar? The same proposition could be raised to you, Hidden, Zin, Zach, as to why none of you reached out to me and Dorito.
Point. But there's also a point that I still kept in contact with you.
Wouldn't that make it worse in a way? That you didn't...
No, not inherently. Not inherently. But that's a conversation we can have later if you are so inclined to.
No, I'm just trying to, like, propose it because, like, I do feel like the level of suicidal manipulation was generally insane from Peaches, and I empathize with both of you in that degree.
in my case, I'm not going to treat it as an excuse for my actions. I have no intent of doing that. That's why I came in here, and why I'm answering. So, just making that clear.
Also the fact that in a moment I figured out things were not what they were supposed to, I did contact you, Crystal. There wasn't a hesitation there. I've been dealing with this stuff for months now, and people still don't want to say things to me.
And that's not okay. People should reach out to you. But
Going to. I figured that out a long time ago. I was like, I told you, Crystal, if it's something that affects me, it doesn't matter.
I'm aware. But like I said, there are people who reach out, and again, like, there was quite a few people who were insinuating for me not to reach out to Lumi, so it seems like it's happening on a lot of sides. This is where I'm like, hey, people need to talk and get shit solved in a way. Like, again, it won't come to a perfect resolution. I don't think, like, you and Lumi will be, like, jumping in, like, down the field anytime soon, but it's the idea of, like,
we will not be.
It clears up a timeline of events.
I'm hoping this is the last time I ever have to speak to Lumi. Lumi, you sat there with Aaron, and you propagated the idea that I should open up, that I should talk about my feelings, and then you dunked on me every time I did. Talking staff chat about how I feel? Nope, don't do that. Talk to other people about how I feel? Nope, don't do that. God forbid I sit in another call and have conversations because you'll hop in. It's like, oh, you shouldn't use the call for this.
Okay, I know exactly what this is in relation to, and I actually should explain that. Lio, do you remember when Sasu used the archive chat?
I'm aware. My response to that is simply screw you, Lumi.
Okay, great. It was a hypocrisy. I pointed it out. That's simply what happened.
It's not a hypocrisy because it was not against my value.
You were the one that scolded Sasu about it initially, not me.
I scolded Sasu for constantly putting emotional burdens on people without their consent. You told me to reach out to people.
Yes. And I'm talking in relation to the archive chat being used for fun right now, which is a whole separate thing.
The archive chat wasn't being used for doggone fun. It came in at the end of us doing things when we were chilling out afterwards. I do not care.
Okay, that's fine. You don't have to care. I'm just explaining the context. The
context doesn't matter in this case. This is what I was talking about. Of course you think the context matters because this is your hyper focus on things like this. It's asinine.
In general.
I reject it.
In general, I said.
Reject it.
Okay, fine. That goes both ways now.
That's fine. Because you sit here and you actively try to destroy my life, and you're sitting here trying to get into the weeds about something as stupid as an archive chat.
Tell yourself, context is relevant, so why should I explain any further?
This isn't a matter of context, Lumi. Not for this. And even in this call where you're talking about how you're sorry and all this, there's still that level of belligerence you've always had.
What belligerence? Because I'm trying to keep my voice calm, level.
You think it's the voice that I'm saying is belligerent? It's your actions and your attitude, Lumi.
What attitude? I'm trying to explain everything to you as clearly as I can. When I offer context, you say it's irrelevant.
In the context of that thing.
Yes, and I've been continuously explaining context behind everything as best as I could.
You have a very specific problem where you always want to be heard without actually hearing out other people. It's why you get so mad when people interrupt you or talk over you. It's why you try to use it as a sticking point that my behavior is getting bad again, because you perceived a miscommunication as trying to talk over you, and somehow that's an indicator that I'm not trying to alter how I are. Asinine.
I disagree with you, but you're entitled to your opinion.
Are you a psychologist, Lumi?
Are you?
No, but I know my behavior.
And I know mine. And you're assuming intent behind my actions here. You are assuming what I'm thinking. You are assuming what kind of problems I have right now.
The fact that you're belligerent, I'm assuming?
No, the fact that you assume I have a problem with the fact that I want to be heard at all times and I struggle with listening, that is your opinion. It is not a diagnosis. Don't ask me if I'm a psychiatrist when you are the one ascribing intent.
You gave me a diagnosis that I was not changing my behavior based on one specific thing.
That's not a diagnosis. That is telling you my opinion. A diagnosis me being saying like, hey man, you have bipolar. That's a diagnosis. That's why I asked if you're a psychologist, because you are pinning one specific thing as an indicator of other behavioral issues that I have had in the past. If you really think that that's somehow a magical indicator that I haven't worked on things, knowing full well that I have, you're being asinine. The fact that I'm not in this call right now, absolutely raising my voice and ripping you to shreds like I would if this was a Senate call. In fact, let me be blunt again with you, Lumi. You're lucky I didn't decide to make this a gallery call. That is the one courtesy I will give you, and frankly, I probably shouldn't. Because out of everyone else, save Aaron themselves, you did the most damage. And I have acknowledged that. I have never sat here saying, no, I didn't. I haven't absolutely refuted anything of that. I've agreed with you so far. I've explained it, but I have not said nuh-uh. I haven't said no. I just agreed, explained it, and if something was not factually correct, I would correct it. By the way, I do hope you're aware of the fact that if you ask me for a gallery call, I would just decline. I have the right to do so.
You're right, you have the right to do so, but you have no problem putting the other people in that seat. You had no problem talking down to people when they did far less egregious things.
Yeah, I can look back on my behavior and say I think it's unacceptable. And I have.
Magically now that you would have been in a hot seat, it's unacceptable.
Oh, magically. No, not magically. Have you been speaking to me in the last few weeks? No, you haven't. You don't talk to me privately, and I want to keep it that way. You don't want to speak to me after this point. I don't want to speak to you either. It's mutual on that part. But
because I'm done having snakes in my life.
Thank fuck. When are you gonna get rid of the ones you still have around you then?
Name them.
No. I don't leave that up to you. You describe me as a snake, so you can describe others as snakes, can't you?
You are a snake.
Guys. You can do all name calling afterwards. Come on. We got this.
See, the thing is, even if I do have other snakes around me, I promise you they won't be able to do the damage you did. Because I'm never letting anyone get that close again. Mm-hmm. You weaponized something that you and Aaron pushed me to do. You weaponized it. And that isn't just Aaron. That's your choice too.
And I can acknowledge what I've done wrong. I have not argued against it. I have repeatedly agreed with you when you've pointed out something I've done wrong, and if I disagreed, I have absolutely said it, made it clear why, explained why.
Moment.
There is a bit of information I do think you might find interesting, Maya.
Listening.
A few days ago, I did the interview with Lumi, just asking, hey, do you know X, Y, and Z? Just, from my personal timeline. And I asked Lumi, how long do you think Peaches premeditated this for? And they said something along the lines of, was it a month? Or a month or two, right? If I remember right, Lumi?
In hindsight, yes.
Yeah.
That was in hindsight, however.
It was in 1 or 2 months. But and then I showed Lumi the message within the group chat of it being 5 months, let alone 6. So I do feel like this has been a bigger plan from Peaches for a longer time, and then they just picked the people who would go along with it. And again, in no way am I excusing Lumi's actions, but I do feel like there's another aspect to it.
I will, however, also point out that the reason I stated that time frame was that was around the time that BK was made, around the time we started talking more with the people involved in that. That's why I said that time frame. I'm making that clear now.
I have something here. Busy Robot asked me to read out to you.
Okay.
I hope you're proud of yourself. I wanted an apology, but I can't trust that now. Never did anything but be a friend to you, and you turned around and did your darndest to take me down and hurt me. And for why? It's laughable you're coming back now. Why? Did the peach rot finally F you over too? Is that why you're slinking back around here? I hope you and the other arslers you're hanging out with rot. I hope you enjoyed tongue polishing that pitiful peach pull daily. Their words, I wouldn't say that personally. Good job, arsler. F off, KYS, K thanks, bye. And I have something here. Where is it? Did Weebus have anything to say? Nope, hold on. Gotta find Weebus's statement. Weebus wanted to let you know that he's the one that leaked the breasts and a beard ball.
Huh?
Yep. He had
I
a
didn't
copy
even know
of
it
it.
was leaked.
Yep. He also has the June call,
Okay.
and it's going to be published.
Okay.
Let's see here.
Like, when have I ever spoken about that call positively, Laya?
You know, the funny thing is, listening back to it wasn't that bad, but whatever. Let's see here.
I disagree. I still think my actions in that call and the actions of others were disgusting.
Okay. I have other people typing. Lumi, do you fully understand why I am being harsher on you than I was Zach, Hidden, Cosmic?
Yeah. For
Why
the most
is
part, I
that?
can.
Why is that?
Because I stuck around there the longest and I've done the worst. You've explained that earlier.
Okay. Just want to make sure we're on the same page, because I know there are some people who think that you should be giving more clemency because the others have. But I don't think they fully understand the sheer amount of damage you've done. My next question for you, while these people are typing out, is how much of this damage have you spoken about to these other people you're involved with?
I've been pretty blunt with them. I've actually they've seen your videos. Yours and Zach's.
Yeah, and I'm sure they complained about them mostly, but my question
No.
is how much do they know?
No. No, Lio. I was put on the spot for my actions, actually.
And what was the consequences of it?
I have lost certain people, and other people have decided to give me chances. Simple as.
I'm guessing the latter camp is where Mally is?
I don't know. And wait, how is that? Hold on. How is Mally relevant to this?
Because I'm curious, because I know you're closest to Mally, if you were honest to Mally.
I've been
Because it seems like a lot of people, Because a lot of people apparently haven't been honest to Mally.
I've been pretty brutally honest about my involvement of everything, actually.
You sat in the call with Mally and me, knowing why I was talking to Mally about these things, and knowing that Peaches did, in fact, have a good reason, or not reason, but had to had input on all of that and why that was. I find it
Yeah.
interesting. Actually, no, I'm not going to share this. No, that's for Crystal and I, because Crystal I can trust.
Okay, and I'm gonna point out to you real quick 2 things of that. One,
Go for it.
you say that Aaron had a big input on that. Do you want to know what else I heard? I can look back and uncall the bullshit, but what I heard at the time was that Aaron expressly told you not to voice those things. Another thing I'm gonna point out.
Go ahead.
Another thing I'm gonna point out is the time that call took place. I was barely awake for it.
You're pretty active for somebody barely awake.
I was in bed, barely able to speak coherently. What are you on about? Or did you just conveniently forget that?
I didn't forget that, Lumi. I don't conveniently forget things. I'm not Aaron. I heard that.
Sorry.
B has a statement. My anger is not towards you anymore. However, you still took falsehoods about Dorito, who doesn't have a mean bone in his body, with zero proof, and spread it around. I don't regret calling you a tampon string, because that was funny.
I regret not seeing it, honestly, and I said that to Crystal as well.
Yeah, no, I told
Why?
Yeah. He didn't that.
Why what?
Why did you push that without evidence?
Because I trusted Sai's word. That's my problem. I'm too trusting. Thing is, I've already apologized to Dorito directly about this. I've spoken to Dorito about it. I never...
Yeah. I get that. That's ultimately between you two, but now having a better connection with Dorito, yeah, screw you for that regardless.
Oh no, absolutely.
No, kind of base.
Yeah, no,
every time I get in a call with Aiden, I literally always call him a cunt for it. Like, don't worry. Like,
yeah, no, I've never.
You know, like kind of sometimes I just mention the call, like the video you made of me. Like, I'm like, yeah, you're kind of a dick for that. I do the same thing with the Dorito thing, but yeah, you're kind of a cunt for that.
Oh yeah, and I've never, not a single time have I said no.
Actually, that reminds me. Why did you ban me from Mally's server?
Good question. Fuck, that'll be going back a while. Fuck.
This one's on you.
I know. No, it is. I'm trying to remember the specific fucking reason. Give me a s... So I'm trying to fucking recall it now.
Weavis has also added on. You and Peaches are both manipulative, duplicitous, degenerate tramps and deserve each other. Get bent. And Busy asked me to also add on that Asuka has bigger balls than you.
Okay. Good for Asuka, I guess.
Why are you asking these questions?
What was that, Crystal?
Where are you asking these questions?
Why am I asking these questions?
No, where are you asking them?
Well, it's not a question. These are statements.
Yeah, no, where are you getting them?
Directly from them?
Oh, fair enough.
What, you're scouring through Cat's where is this posted?
Yeah, I was like, where is this chat going from? It's a curious little soul.
I know you are. You're essentially a cat, and somehow I keep finding you in my trash.
Exactly. But no, I do feel like Lied is more questions you can, like, just a general thing. Like, I feel like it's more questions for timeline you could ask. Again, like,
feel free to jump in here after I get my answer here.
Okay, yeah, got it. Same reason I did everything. Going
So
off
Aaron
my
told
DMs. Yeah.
So Aaron told you to ban from Mally's chat?
Aaron told me to get rid of you where I could.
Does Mally know you had input in that video?
Which video?
The one that dropped right before you banned me.
How much input did I actually have?
You literally looked over the entire script. You relayed things to Aaron in real time as well. You were active on the sidebar. Crystal has the copy of that. She knows this.
Yeah, she does. And I'm gonna point out right now. I was quite literally relaying what I was told to relay in this. I know fuck all about drama.
I'm aware. My point is the reason I was given for not being allowed in that server is because that video made people uncomfortable, and it's a video you assisted in. Does Mally know you had a hand in that video, was my question.
She probably does. Let's be frank.
You sat here and told me that you've admitted to things you've done. So did you tell
Yes.
Mally this?
I've told Mally everything she's asked me. And frankly, I'm not the only one speaking to Mally. I'm not.
I'm asking you a very direct question. Does Mally, from you, know that you had a hand in that video?
I don't know.
How do you not know?
Memory issues, Lio. They're very fun.
This is getting frustrating. Go ahead, Crystal.
Oh, hi. Sorry. No, it's just like the idea of like I know I've asked multiple questions to Lumi, but I can't.
Mhm.
Like I feel like there's aspects I'm not thinking of because again, like you're affected in this way. So I feel like
Mhm.
a more coherent timeline could be made, like in relation to you, just any like broader questions you could ask overall. Because again, like I really do feel like a good timeline could be achieved here.
I'm not as interested in a timeline. I'm interested in the impact, because the
Okay.
timeline to me is irrelevant in that aspect. But I am curious. Why did you say in your statement against me that I tried to break you two up, knowing full well how guilty I felt about the fact that I caused a division between you two?
Because that's what Aaron told me. You do realize, and I mentioned this earlier, Aaron had a big hand in my statement to the point of telling me what to put in it. And that was one of the things that I was told to put in there.
Is this essentially going to be the answer to everything I ask you?
What else am I meant to say to you when that's the truth? Am I meant to lie out of my ass and fucking tell you something that would satisfy you more?
Hold on. Who messaged me? How dare you?
I can, in a way, give Lumi a bit of credit, question mark, in the idea of when Cosmic and Aiden completely dropped contact and Cosmic came into Queen's server and talked to me. It is ringing the same bells, and to my understand, Cosmic has dropped Aiden. So for this timeline to be consistent, if it was a lie and still being held when they don't talk to each other anymore, it doesn't seem like that would happen, because that was the same thing that Cosmic was saying to him. Like, they constantly was saying to me, add this or go harder on this bit, relay this bit, just Peaches constantly having a hand in Cosmic's segment. So I don't know if that adds any credence to what Aiden's saying here, but that's a bit of information which I feel like would be needed.
And one more statement at least from Drunkle B.
Sure.
Saying, me and Busy were your friends. We tried to be friends with the other, but they didn't like us. You hurt us, lied about our friendship, friends, and us. I hope it was worth it.
No, it wasn't.
How about we hand the funny little table over to Monstrous if they have anything they could add?
You can talk.
Don't worry, I can talk a little bit.
This is rough.
I just want to say that this is all ridiculous. The fact that you were willing to let your friend kill themselves because you didn't want to make the hard call of getting them the help that they needed. Because Lumi was great. Like, if you care about somebody, you would have made that call. Lumi, there's no excuse. None whatsoever.
I can accept that. No, I can accept that.
I know. I don't need a validation of that.
Yeah.
You hurt people, and your response is, "Oh yeah, okay." That's ridiculous. You're ridiculous and you're heartless. And I don't know how long you strung me along. I don't care, because it's irrelevant to me. But you hurt your friends, and you're blaming this all on Aaron as if you're not a whole ass adult. They couldn't make your own decisions. That's a joke. A hilarious, sad joke.
I'm not trying to blame everything for Aaron even. What I'm trying to do is give reason, and I've not at any point said that I have not made the mistake of going along with what Aaron has said. I am a fool for believing it. I can acknowledge that. I've repeatedly said that. I've said that to Crystal also. I know I was stupid for doing that. I'm aware.
You're beyond stupid. Beyond
Yeah.
stupid.
No, I can accept it.
Because you're sitting here and you're saying, well, you know, Aaron was dangling their life in front of me. You came to me, Lumi, with the same exact problem. And what did I tell you to do, Lumi? Do you remember?
I don't remember.
Of course
No, I
not.
don't. That's
Of
the
course
problem.
not. I told you to give Aaron space and to leave them alone because they wanted space from you. And you ignored that. You went crawling right back to Aaron. So this whole, like, I was manipulated, they held my life, like they had their life in my hands. Ridiculous, Lumi. You are a whole grown-ass adult. And you couldn't handle that. You couldn't tell someone to fuck off. You couldn't block someone. You know, it's funny because I don't think Aaron actually tried to hurt themselves. I think it was all just fun and games and ha-ha. And part of me has to wonder how much of that you knew about. Because you're telling me, oh, well, I forgot. Because I have a horrible memory. I couldn't tell you about a call in the last 6 months. But I know how to look back at DMs. I know how to find screenshots. You're telling me you're incapable of doing that?
It's what I've been doing in the background, actually. Just trying to recall things.
Right. Sure. I'm disappointed. I'm really disappointed for your compasses at the end of that meeting. You're a shitty person.
Oh, shit.
And I think that anything that happens to you from here on out is 100% what you deserve.
Well, I agree with you.
I'm glad. That's all I have to say before I die.
Here's the rub about what Monstrous said. The reason, and I think the only reason why Monstrous gives me any clemency in this is because Monstrous knows fully 100% that P just isolated me, and what things I did do that hurt people didn't have the destructive level of just asinine stupidity that yours did. Yeah, I tried to get Melly to cut people off because I thought that would help Aaron, and Aaron made it clear that's what they wanted. They wanted to be Melly's friend again, and Melly wasn't around these terrible people. I tried to give Harley clemency, and every time Aaron, well, don't you know Harley did XYZ thing, which I find interesting that they needed you to run to Harley, somebody they've constantly talked trash about that you knew, by the way.
That did confuse me for sure.
How much pushback did you give?
None.
Uh-huh. The worst thing Aaron did was convince me to make that video on Crystal by feeding me half-truths, lies, and constantly use their life as a shield. And don't forget that I have the BK logs, and I know both you and Aaron were making fun of me for it while I was doing that video for Aaron.
I know you have the logs.
That was not Aaron pushing you. That was a decision you made because you're the one that instigated that. He thinks this is going to bring you back. LOL. No. I thought I had an obligation to help someone.
Mm-hmm.
Someone who still used their life against me. Knowing I didn't know any better, and knowing the people that could help, they had successfully isolated me from. I couldn't reach out to Monstrous because no matter what I was doing, Aaron had to know about it. I literally could not mute, put my phone into another room, and use the restroom without Aaron losing it on me. Wanting to know where I was and what I was doing.
Yeah. I had the same thing going on. So I understand.
I had it going on for almost 2 years. 2 years, every boundary I had was broken. I was told horrific things, some of which I tried to relate to you and tried to give you evidence for, and you rejected it. You rejecting the evidence was you. That wasn't Aaron. It was you. Why did you reject seeing the evidence?
Good question.
Because I told you Aaron had made it clear several times in the most hateful ways, saying things like they would have been better off with their groomer. And when I offered to give you that evidence, you didn't want it.
That one I actually know. It's because Aaron explained why they said it. And at the time, they said it was because the comparison was you scream your head off at them, or going back to somebody who treated them supposedly well, according to what they said. Again, this is what I was told, not something I believe currently.
Why would you want the screen cap then?
Because I was already told about it and I was aware of it.
Crystal?
Hmm?
When I relay to you a conversation that's happened in DMs, what do you say?
I ask for proof. Like, if you're going to make essential claims, I'm going to ask for proof because, yeah. But that's mostly due to my paranoia at this point, if I'm being honest. Like, I've been through this ballpark way too long where I'm like, okay, you make a claim, if it's going to be big, provide evidence, provide proof.
I also told you about egregious things Aaron has said to me.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a joke, I guess.
No, it's
Here's,
not a joke.
here's what I see. And this is where I have to get a little visceral. I think there is something genuinely wrong with the people in that server on almost cellular level. Because one thing I have noticed about every single one of you is every single one of you, Aaron isolated specifically because you've all had abuse issues with older men. And I think part of this was a sadistic way to attack another older man to work out whatever problems you guys had with another person that was not me. That was enjoyed. I do not like having to hurt other people unless I have to, believe it or not. And while you guys all have an absolutely wonderful example of me taking out my frustration on somebody who did not deserve that level of it, the life ruination nonsense is horrifically egregious. And I don't know what's going in your statement, but I sure hope it's good. And if you're wondering why I asked you more about Mally, it's because even though Mally's cut me off primarily due to things Aaron has done or pushed me into doing, like violating my most prized, for lack of a better word, value of if I have a problem with you, I will take it to you. I was not allowed to do that. Mally does not need somebody like you in their life. You're going to bring them more trouble. So I really hope Mally isn't the person giving you another chance. Because they don't care about me, but I still care about their safety. They've been through enough of this nonsense. But you know what? At least Mally had the sense to cut Aaron off. And maybe if I was able to have actually at that time had an open, honest conversation with Mally, maybe I could have had somebody to reach out to. But I couldn't. That's why I focused on Mally. Because I don't know the other people you're around, Lumi.
No, I don't.
But I am sick of this. I am sick of the fact that whenever I'm going through crap like this, it's not really a problem, or it's a joke, or people are in back rooms running their mouth. There's not a single one of you I did anything to deserve that. Making light of the fact that I was molested, that I'm named after that person, and that
Okay.
Aaron was desperately trying to find it. Aaron knew that.
Okay, yeah, and I'm just gonna. That is the first I'm hearing of that. What?
Yeah. Aaron knew these things. Aaron had no problem treating my situation and Crystal's situation like tea. Lovely.
I think that is, again, what Owen has done to me and you is completely deranged, but I'm more annoyed at the people who knew about this and didn't tell us.
Yeah, I am too.
That I had to reach out to multiple. Like, I will generally vouch for Lumi here. Like, when I revealed about the Amino screenshots, when I revealed about certain information, like, there's certain tones you can fake. That wasn't one of them. I generally do not believe that Lumi knew about certain events. One, what you've just said now, another one being the Amino screenshots, another one being the homelessness. But
Yeah,
certain people
I can
did.
grant that.
Mhm.
I can grant that. But the point is, these were never things that should be gossip tea to begin with.
Completely agree. I trust me, I'm in a complete agreement of that in every kind
Because you
of
know
way.
what? After thinking about it for a while, Crystal, now that you're in call, when they did bring to me the fact that you had been homeless, I asked if there's anything we could do for you, and their response was, "Well, Crystal wouldn't accept it anyways." So they weaponized your own standard against you. Love that too.
Oh,
Yeah, we
fuck.
love. Yeah. Yep, that's Evan. That's Evan. We love Evan
Why
for
am
that.
I learning about this?
I'm just like this now as well. Don't worry. Yeah. Ugh. Yeah, no. I would definitely say that's more on Evan, and again, I would try my best to keep them in call when I do that call eventually, but I think we're all aware here. Like, it's one thing we can all agree on. Fuck Evan. I think that's one thing we can all agree on here.
Absolutely.
They're going to be incredibly flaky, and I don't think I'm going to get much on that call. Because the second they click it's me, I think they're going to hang up, and I fucking hate that. They're the one who gets to truly escape from this. And they have done the worst.
Lumi, when did you learn that Aaron took you for a ride?
Learn about it after I cut them off. Suspected it about a week or so before I cut them off. And I didn't know how to cut them off without them spiraling and threatening me with their life, so I was panicking throughout that time on how to do it.
What made you realize it?
There was an incident that occurred between me and Aaron where Aaron proceeded to snap at me, saying the same shit they said about you, essentially. That I was being aggressive, that I was mad, that I was doing this and that. And then there was an incident that happened in the Critter Club where Aaron deleted the entire general chat, which is why we don't have any backups of it, unfortunately. And I have sent, I believe, Crystal here, a screenshot of the audit log. I know I've probably sent it to Sin as well, in that group chat we have, where I specified that that chat was deleted by showing the screenshot of the Kuroko account doing so. In that chat, I don't remember the details of it, which is why I was so pissed off it was deleted because we couldn't talk about it. Aaron proceeded to spiral about how we don't care, how we don't give a shit. All because I said, Aaron, I don't know anything about the UK healthcare system. Why don't you find a new GP? And they just kept lashing out every time any kind of fucking help was offered.
What made you realize they were lying specifically about the abuse?
Around the same time, actually.
What cued you in on that?
The comments they made towards me. That I mentioned sounded like the shit they said about you. Made me realize they were full of shit.
Has Aaron tried to contact you since you cut them off?
As far as I know, no. However, I blocked their number. I have them blocked on Discord. Their Discord account is gone now.
Of course it is.
I blocked them on WhatsApp as well, so they can't contact me there, and they don't have any other way to contact me. The only contact to me in relation to Aaron has been a background check being done for their work, which I have asked them to stop contacting me full stop. That was a while ago.
I've also got Lumi to provide glance as well, and I've gone through all the friends and there's nothing of suspicion. It's now gone into the main file, but there's no account to Ving. That's a new account. That's a fresh account. That's probably a Peaches alt. So
Why was the BK server nuked?
I honestly do not know. I don't know why Aaron deleted it. Because initially I left BK because Aaron wanted to claim that I'm not in contact with them. I couldn't say no. Because otherwise it would be used against me as usual.
Which is
So I
why you
left.
lied. Sorry.
So I left BK. Then Critter Club was made soon after, with Aaron continuously pressuring me to tell people that we are not in touch because they did not want to be told to speak to anyone.
Is that why you lied to Jibs about being in contact with Aaron?
Yeah. So I lied to everyone about being in contact with Aaron.
I don't think I need to go into detail, but I will state this for the record, how screwed up it is to lie to somebody you have done so horrendous wrong to satisfy the ego of somebody who shouldn't even know what was going on in that call.
I'm aware.
Why did Aaron not want to talk to Jibs?
I'm not 100% sure. Although,
They had to give a reason.
no, they just said no. They don't want to do it.
You didn't ask why?
Do you really think I would ask why in the moment where I'm paranoid as fuck about somebody offing themselves if I give them any kind of prodding that might nod towards me disagreeing with their decision?
Yeah, because even I did that. Even I would ask Aaron why,
You're not me though, and I didn't.
clearly.
Yeah.
I think it's because I was there. If I was to throw a guess in, because
No idea.
once they figured out like, oh, I'm in Queen server or I'm in the Senate again, they'll instantly clicked in their head that, oh yeah, my plan of getting Crystal and Lyle to go head to head didn't work. I'm fucked.
No idea.
That's my game theory at least.
What did Aaron have to say about my Crystal video?
Oh, that's a good question.
Honestly, it didn't come up. Now that I'm thinking about this, it didn't fucking come up after it came out.
So you're telling me he put all that obsession, all that emphasis on the video coming up, coming out, and then spoke literally nothing about it once it hit?
Yep.
Yeah,
Of course,
that's
I didn't
my
fucking
opinion.
think about it at the time because, you know, paranoid as shit.
I don't find any humor in any of this.
I'm not fucking laughing.
Shock
I'm
reaction.
not laughing, Lyle.
It's a shock reaction.
I see.
I'm not fucking laughing about any of this.
Huh, so they really just were like, okay, let's just put all this pressure on everybody to get this video done. Oh, it's done now. Not part of me. Crystal's dealt with.
Why did you
Fucking hell.
lie to Aaron about the Miku shorts?
I didn't actually lie about them, I just said what was being said to me. And then,
You were in the call with us when we said we were waiting on Linlin to show up.
nobody
that was
mentioned
working
Linlin
most.
to me at the time.
We did, because that's where Zach and I had that conversation about waiting on Linlin, and then we'd work on it, but until then, I was getting the week's shorts done.
And are you sure I was there during the mention of Linlin? Because I'm genuinely serious
You were.
at the time, and I do not recall any mention of Linlin. When that was
Because-
mentioned to me after the fact, I was genuinely surprised.
Because the joke about the Miku music in the particular video was made, or in my response video rather, was made in that call after we had talked about Linlin being
Yeah, but that doesn't mean I was there for the mention of Linlin. Also,
there. You were there for all of that, because you were the one in the server complaining about me making that joke.
I didn't actually outright complain. I came in saying, guys, do you want to hear a joke he just cracked? And everything blew up after that. And that's in the logs. I know that's in the logs.
Why was it found acceptable to do to me what Spoctor did to Aaron.
This is gonna sound really dumb. What did Spoctor do to Aaron?
Streamed their call in Harley's server.
Okay, thank you. Because Aaron claimed it was specifically as a safeguard for themselves.
Safeguard against what?
You yelling, you lashing out, all the other shit they kept telling us about.
That I didn't do. That you guys heard calls where I didn't do that. How do any of you? Because I know Billy, Mr. I'll give apologies if they ask for him. Screw that guy, by the way. Sat in there commenting about how small I sounded in the call. So you all heard that Aaron was berating me constantly in that conversation, telling me asinine things like I don't care about their life when you factually knew better. Why was that acceptable?
I already given the explanation of why it was deemed acceptable at the time.
Because Aaron would freak out if it wasn't?
I just told you the reason it was deemed acceptable is because Aaron claimed that they were recording these calls for their own safekeeping. Then, certain interactions after the first call where they were quote-unquote regressing their fucking statement, not mine. After that, they were supposedly lashing out after that. Standing up for themselves, that's how it was framed to us at the time.
Framing's one thing. You guys heard the call in real time.
You do realize that if something is framed in a certain way, it can be heard in a different light, right?
You have ears. I hope you never show up again. In fact, I hope you delete this account, because on top of all this, sending messages to Hidden saying how you're just going to leave your Twitter because of all the things going on in relation to Jibs. Hee. This does not communicate to me that you cared.
I do find it a bit amusing that the fact that I try to be lighthearted about the reason is being framed as me being all funny haha about it. I want
Literally
all
said
my
tee hee.
followers. Yes. I always try to be lighthearted about serious shit in relation to me. That is something I've always done, unfortunately. It's a bad habit. I need to kick it.
Lighthearted about hurting somebody who was a victim of grooming.
No. Teehee about me removing my entire following on Twitter. I didn't just leave Twitter, Lyle. I went through and individually removed every single follower I had because I deemed myself not worthy of having that.
It was in reference to the crap storm on Twitter in relation to you allowing that call to be put out. So that's why the teehee is supremely disrespectful to the sheer amount of damage you did to Jibs. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I can cover here that isn't going to be responded with Peaches did it.
I think this call is just about your clip.
Yeah. I think so too.
Here's a proposition to all of you guys then. I'll ask it here. Because I think we all know someone wants to be in the call, desperately.
Who?
Wait, you don't know?
Which person? There's a lot of people who wanted in this call.
It's in.
It's up to Lumi, I suppose.
What point does he have even being in here? Like, I'm running low on time. Like,
No, that's
I'm
valid.
sorry if it's inconvenient, but like, this is the free time I've got.
It's just that He's been interesting with his response to not being allowed in this call to me, and that's the only reason I would propose that.
I think you owe Sin and Hidden a conversation. I recommend you get that sorted.
I'll think about it in my own free time.
Why are you so dismissive of those two in this case?
What you mean?
Well, think about it in my own free time. These people that I know that I've helped harm, like I'll think about it. Why?
See, honestly, I don't trust them.
I wasn't aware a conversation about wrongs you've committed had to do with trust.
You said it's my choice.
I did. I'm asking you for reasons. Because if you're sitting here saying you feel awful about the wrongs you've done, but you exclude the wrongs you've done to other people, not so inclined to believe you. Because here's the thing, I don't trust you. I'm in a
Okay.
call with you. So what does a call have to do with trust? Because something's going on here, and it smells. You should be a lot less interested in a call with me than with Thin and Hidden.
You wanted a call with me, I gave you a call with me.
You're not answering my question. I can smell deflection, Lumi. What's actually going on here?
What is it?
I am asking you direct questions, and you are avoiding answering it directly.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you hesitant for a call with Sin and Hidden?
This has hesitation and more the fact I do not wish to speak to them.
Why?
Personal reasons.
Personal reasons.
Yes.
That's why I asked you what happened. 'Cause this is not normal for you.
I hate to break it to you, Eli, but this is something I'm going to keep to myself.
I see. Well then. So you can wrong other people and it be a personal reason not to communicate with them. Okay.
I have already spoken to Sin once.
Yes, and it was not about their issues. It's you. You know that because I've listened to that call. It's why I cited Billy's nonsense. Here's the fun thing, and you can actually no. Whenever my power comes back on and I have access to that group chat, I'll absolutely tell Billy to his stupid, dishonest face. Would you harm somebody else? It is not the onus on them to reach out to you. Because here's the truth of the matter. Before my video went out, I did the best I could to contact and apologize to the people I've harmed before that video came out. The only exceptions are Mally and Harley. Mally, because I couldn't get anybody to contact her, and Harley, because that communication was broken. Whatever. So those got public apologies. Something smells about this. There's something you're not telling me and something they're not telling me, and I'm going to find out eventually. Because anything I do, find out.
Okay. However, I'm
We're
going to
done.
point this out right now, before
Go
we
ahead.
go. How is Billy dishonest for believing something that he genuinely believed at the time? He
The
was doing his
dishonest-
best to comfort somebody he thought was in distress. He
Dishonesty
wasn't as hold on.
was it?
He wasn't as privy as me to Senate shenanigans. He was not privy as me to half of the shit from Senate. He saw somebody I cared about and tried his best to help them. If that is dishonest to you, then frankly, I don't know what the hell to say to you.
If he wasn't as privy to Senate shenanigans, then him of all people should have had the sense to reach out, to ask questions, to verify. The dishonesty is, I'm so sorry, guys, but the guy I wronged has to contact me for it. The dishonesty wasn't in the fact that he thought somebody was hurt. The dishonesty is the fact that he could sit here and say all day long he's sorry. But if I have to reach out to him to get an apology, he's not sorry. If Crystal had to come to me to get an apology instead of me going to Crystal, hat in hand to apologize, then I'm a dishonest snake. That's what I'm getting at. And I don't care how close you are to Billy. Sounds to me like both of you like being a ball curl yourselves.
What I know is for me to know. If you find out, you'll find out. That's in due time.
Oh, I'm sure.
And when
But
you
thanks for
do-
proving you're totally open and honest about things that happened in that server. Love that.
That has nothing to do with what happened in that server, actually.
Okay. Okay. And for the record, yeah, I've got my eyes on certain people.
Okay.
Because here's the truth. Jar was right about you.
Sure.
We're done here.
After this call, Lumi tried to rebrand with a new account, an account that went down the moment we told Crystal we knew it existed. Also have noticed that K Cosmic came back as well and is clearly still in contact with Lumi, since it's one of the people Lumi followed on this new account. Odd to me that K Cosmic was too stressed to make the statement they promised, but not too stressed to cause ruckus in livestream chats or to still engage. I was asked what the difference was between my actions egged on by Peaches and Lumi's actions egged on by Peaches. I think this call answers that. Lumi actively tried to ruin my life by painting me as an abuser, and then acted belligerent in this call, all while saying they're sorry. I don't actually think he is. His actions in the call say otherwise to me. Does that mean I think Lumi should be isolated from everyone, though? No. Lumi isn't a predator. He's just a malicious, unrepentant jerk. He should be allowed to have friends and socialize. If he didn't learn from any of this and hurts those friends, that's on him for not changing, and on them for not listening. But that's not going to be my problem. Do I forgive Lumi, though? Yes. He has the right to change and grow. It's just not going to be around me. This brings me to the most jarring thing brought up in this video. Yes, that did happen to me. It's one of the reasons I got involved in predator hunting, or trying to help people in general. No one cared then, and frankly, no one really cares now, so I wanted to help people so they wouldn't go through that. I'm not going to pretend that I didn't screw up. I did. But that's the motivation for why I try to help people. I know what it's like for no one to care. The man who did that to me has been dead longer than most of you listening have probably been alive. Nothing can be done about him now, but could be done for others. It's already been weaponized against me, and I pretty well expected it to be. But it's whatever. Part of the reason this has been uploaded by me specifically is to try and reclaim that myself. I know this has been pretty heavy, but I felt it was important to put this out here for that, if for no other reason. Hopefully the next video will be something fun. If you like the model I built, a link to it will be in the description. That's it for now, though. Take care.